Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Monday, March 23rd, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Recap. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course, the 215 on Twitter. And without further ado, let's get into the news. We don't have a lot. It's kind of been tight. This past week, Ricochet effed up majorly. He got into it with a fan who said something to him, and it said that he's happy that fan got MS. It's not cool. He eventually took down a tweet. He apologized. Samantha Irvin, his fiance, was getting death threats as well. She deactivated her Twitter. It's never good. He was in the wrong. He knows he was in the wrong. And his good friend Chris Hero, who also works backstage in AEW, you may remember him as Cassius Ohno in NXT, talked to him and was a big help to him. Dennis Rodman will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. You remember Rodman running with the NWO, his tag match going up against Carl Malone. It's good stuff from the old days of WCW. Zeta still revealed why she left the WWID program, and this girl has a lot of talent. She essentially said that she loves wrestling. Wrestling is her escape from reality, and when your escape feels like work, then you don't like it and you don't love it as much, and that's why she walked away. I think she's going to do big things in the Ring of Honor. Carlos Silva has said that TNA will be returning to the UBS Arena this year for Slammiversary. They were there last year. We don't have the dates just yet, but it's usually around mid-July. Candice Michelle, who signed her new TNA contract, confirmed her new role, and she will be an agent, will be helping out backstage, but she also hinted that even though she had her retirement match, she has no problem getting back in the ring. And some sad news, legendary wrestler of the Midnight Express, Dennis Condrey, passed away at the age of 74. He was part of just the modern tag team way of wrestling. He was a pioneer of it all. Alongside Bobby Eaton, managed by Jim Cornette, the Midnight Express became one of the most influential tag teams in all of professional wrestling. They wrestled in AWA, the NWA, Georgia Championship Wrestling, Mid-South, and of course Jim Crockett Promotions. On the injury side of things, Dominic Mysterio is not cleared to compete after his brutal AAA Rey de Reyes title defense. He got some staples in his skull, bleeding pretty much. Santos Escobar, some sucky news, is undergoing tricep surgery after his AAA event. He will be out for an undisclosed amount of time. It sucks on his part. Looks like Josh Alexander got injured at the last Collision show, Slam Dunk Saturday. We don't know the extent of his injury. And Tony Khan was pulled from Dynamite. It sounds like she will be out for the remainder of the year. We do not know what is going on. We will not be speculating, even though there are people who kind of have an idea. They're guessing, but Tony Storm will be out for pretty much the rest of 2026. That is news, and we should be right back with the Week in Review. All right, let's get into the Week in Review. You know, we start off with Monday Night Raw. And the ruler has come for the Beast. We opened up with, well, the show gets a fist first of all, but we opened up with Seth and his masked people. And he says he's coming for Paul Heyman, vowing revenge, calling him a cancer. Heyman appears, doing his thing. He's disheveled. He hasn't shaved, yada, yada, yada. But Brock shows up, destroys the Masked Man, and he's ready to put Seth down till the lights go out. And the ruler has arrived. He confidently steps to Brock Lesnar. Seth causes a minor distraction, allowing Oba to hit the fall from Grace and put his foot on Brock's chest. And it is official, Oba versus Brock at WrestleMania, the ruler and the Beast. Now, where does this leave Gunther? Where does this leave Royce Keys? I don't know. Roman arrives. He meets with his cousins, the Usos, and he addresses Punk's comments about his family. Listen, he's like, hey, look, I'm going to get Punk at WrestleMania. and y'all got him now, right? Our first match of the evening was Grande versus Americano with I don't even remember. I think they were OG. No, the El Grande, the new one, got the win with the loaded mask. Liv Morgan had a promo video explaining why she kicked Finn out of the Judgment Day. It was a little bit of retcon history here, and it's so funny now. All three, Damien, Rhea, Finn. Yeah, all 4 original members of the Judgment Day are now gone. Edge, Damien, Rhea, and Finn, all gone. Roman was still with the Usos, and he emphasized being a full-time father over criticism of being a part-timer. We had an Aussie title match, AJ Lee versus Bayley in a solid match, but ultimately AJ Lee retained, making Bayley tap out to the Black Widow. After the match, Becky Lynch attacked Bayley, and Becky attacked AJ, and Becky has ultimately snapped. Adam Pearce confirmed Dominic is not medically clear, and Penta, well, he wanted to put the Aussie title on the line, and he ends up defending against Dragon Lee in a solid, hard-hitting, high-paced match, but he ultimately wins the match with the Mexican Destroyer. Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and Paul Heyman are backstage. They're strategizing what they want to do. Looks like they're going to go after the tag team titles. So that looks like it will be our possible WrestleMania match. Logan and Theory versus the Usos. I'm kind of expecting Braun Breaker to be clear to take on Seth. Then we had Natalya defeat Maxine Dupree in 5 minutes with a sharpshooter. Natty kept beating her ass after the match, so maybe we're done with Natty versus Maxine, which would really suck. Orton was on the phone in his video interview, and he talked about attacking Cody. Wasn't personal. He called himself a killer, and referenced that wrestling has more than one royal family. Stephanie Kerr ended up defeating Raquel Rodriguez in a solid match. She countered the Tahana bomb into a pin. Bayley and Lyra were really upset. They're gonna figure out what their next path is. Looks like they're going after the tag team titles. Asuka and Kairi also issued a warning. LA Knight suggested alliance with the Usos, but also said, hey, this is looking like some old bloodline business, and if this happens, ladies and gentlemen, we ain't gonna be on the same page. You feel me? Yeah. Roman was in the ring with CM Punk. This is our main event segment, and Punk mocked Roman's identity and tribal chief persona, whatever. They throw shots at each other. Roman called Punk a tryhard, and Punk promised to end Roman Reigns' main event run, but ultimately Roman struck a nerve and said, I'm better than you, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you. You're a disgrace to this championship, and you're just old. And that caused Punk to punch Roman Reigns. Over on Dynamite, this was the Revolution Fallout show. The show gets fist. It was a little tough. The show was good, but the Fresno, California crowd wasn't super great. Our opening contest was Will Ospreay making his return, taking on Vanilla Baby Blake Christian in a solid match. It didn't go too long. He won with the hidden blade. Blake Christian is a really solid talent. After the match, he called out Jon Moxley, Ospreay that is, and Mox and Yuta appeared, and brawl broke out with ultimately Mox, Ospreay, and everybody attacking Ospreay, but he got the upper hand and chased Pac backstage. So look like that's probably our next Ospreay match is him versus Pac. While we were still in the ring, Moxley and Yuta took on Ace Austin and Juice Robinson with the Death Riders getting the W. Really good match. I'm waiting. I think the Death Riders are fine. I think the Bang Bang Gang are just in a holding pattern until Austin. Is Austin hurt? Colton's hurt. Until Colton and Jay White come back. Gabe Gibb delivered a chilling promo because he's about to take on Darby in their coffin match, and they started fighting in the parking lot. Darby crashed the car, dragged them to the ring. The start of the coffin match, and it was really solid, but Darby doesn't lose coffin matches, and he ultimately won this match here. I think there's more coming afterwards, but also after the match, Darby said he is coming for MJF, and he's coming for the World Championship. The Jurassic Express, they were on a road trip, and they met up the Young Bucks. They got some business to take care of in the ring. Swerve addressed his number one contendership, and he called out Kenny, and he said this: put your EVP status on the line. In exchange, I'll put my title shot out on the line. he wants power. He's going to get that power. Speedball talked about his journey and the respect for all his hard work, but if you paid attention, he said something of, it's harder for him. It doesn't come as easy as it does as his tag team partner Kevin Knight. Kevin had this look on his face. Someone's gonna get got. Speedball ended up taking on Mark Davis in a really solid match. Mark Davis is just a good wrestler, man. But ultimately, Speedball won with a spinning hook kick and then hit the ultimate weapon. MJF, we got a promo from him after Revolution, and he's done. He dismissed Hangman. He's the future, and he's going to Disney World. We backstage, we found Toni Storm attacked, and there were clues everywhere. Like we said, she's going to be out with injury. We don't know what it is. But Marina denied any responsibility. She ended up taking on Mina Shirakawa in a no-holds-barred match. And I hate wrestling no-holds-barred matches because they aren't no-holds-barred. They're just street fights. They're just no DQ matches. A no-holds-barred match means it's a regular one-on-one match. You can be disqualified. You can be counted out. The only exception is holds aren't barred. Solid, violent match with Mina Shirakawa ultimately getting the W here, which was a little bit of shocking. She actually won with the Storm Zero. Andrade was offered some money by Don Callis, and he's not sure about this partnership, this alliance with MJ. After our main event was a trios match as Young Bucks and Jack Perry took on Okada and Roppongi Vice. They were all three representing the Don Callis family. This was a really, really fun, solid match. Everybody just knows what to do here. They just work really, really well together. Ultimately, the Bucks and Jack Perry, maybe the Elite, got the W. Cope and Christian came out, and they say they are challenging FTR for the tag team titles at Dynamite. FTR and Stokely came out. Brawl broke out, and the Bucks bailed as Cope and Christian stood tall. Over on Impact, Santana is telling it like it is. The first match was the Hometown Man versus Frankie Kazarian, and a solid match. Went about 6 minutes, went back and forth. It was a little clunky and awkward in the middle, but ultimately the Hometown Man won after some outside interference from AJ Francis. He got the one with the cradle pin. Elijah attempted to attack Kazarian with the guitar, and he accidentally hit AJ Francis backstage. We were being interviewed with Gia Miller. She was with the Angel Warriors, and they want the Laying Lee wants her Knockouts title rematch, and she promised a statement win whenever that may come. Santino and Daria discussed the Knockouts division. They set up a potential triple threat match at Sacrifice. Laying Lee, Danny Garcia, and Ariana Grace. This will probably be for the Knockouts Championship. Mike Jackson took on Mr. Elegance, who was making his in-ring debut. Y'all got to remember, Mike Jackson is 76. He impressed, but ultimately Mr. Elegance got the win. His finisher is ass. It's really ass. He attempted to humiliate him, Mike Jackson, after the match until ODB made the save and dumped some beans on Mr. Elegance. I'm telling y'all don't believe me. 6-woman tag. It'll be the Elegance brand versus Mickie James, ODB, Candice Michelle. I'm calling it right now. The system ended up issuing multiple challenges. They want the tag team titles from the Hardys. Cedric was calling out Leon Slater because Leon is the X Division champion, and Eddie Edwards called out Santana. Santana is the world champion, and Brian Myers vowed to beat Moose. So they got their priorities in order. The Angel Warriors took on Ariana Grace and Danny Luna. That statement win didn't come as Danny Luna and Ariana Grace won. This was a really fun match with frequent momentum shifts, but ultimately Danny Luna pinned Xylee after hitting the Luna, landing on Leon Slater. Draws Eric Young, called him out for Sacrifice, and he's fired up. Looks like we're gonna get this match. Moose took on Brian Myers. This was quick. Moose ran through that man. The system was banned from ringside, and Moose just hit the spear. It was over. Rosemary continued her storyline with Ali and Raven. She focused on Envy, and she is working on bringing back her friend, the Demon Bunny. The system regrouped after that just embarrassing loss, and Bear Bronson said he's coming for Moose next week, while Brian Myers is making his focus on the tag team titles. Jada Stone took on Elena Black, and after some interference from Tasha Steelz, Elena Black got the win. She confronted Mara Sade until Ali In order for Serrano and Jada Stone until Trey Miguel came out and made the save. Tessa Blanca confronted Jody Threat, Harley Hudson, and Molly Grace, and Jody challenged Tessa to a match next week. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Our main event match was The Righteous taking on Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth in a really competitive match of two good tag teams. Ultimately, the Nemeths won. The finish involved a little bit of misdirection and outside interference, leading to a pin on Vincent. We ended the show with a face-to-face between Santana and Macklin. This got really personal, and really deep, and they really called each other out on stuff. Ultimately, Santana paid the bill and told Macklin, "You're welcome for getting your job back." Okay. Over on SmackDown, this show gets the fist. Randy Orton is continuing to listen to the voices. Before the show even got started, Drew and Jacob Fatu were just fighting and beating the holy hell out of each other. As he got to the ring, Drew demanded the consequences for Jacob costing him, and Nick said, "Look, nope, I'm threatening you with your job." And Jacob came to the ring. They kept fighting some more. Massive brawl broke out. Jacob leaped off the barricade, and they both went through the announce desk. Tag team titles were on the line as Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo put the titles on the line against Damian Priest and R-Truth. And look, here's my thing. I was perfectly fine with the MFTs being tag team champions, but not Solo and JC Mateo, or at least do the Freebird rule. I would have actually had Tama Tonga Tangaloa, as they are the bona fide tag team, be the tag team champions, but whatever. Ultimately, we got new champions, and Damian Priest and R-Truth. The Wyatts appeared and attacked, tried to get the Lantern back, and they still don't have it. The Bella Twins confronted Charlotte and Alexa. Danhausen interacted with Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano. Maybe Johnny is cursed. Sammy reflected on what's going on with him and Cody and the disillusionment, and Trick interrupted him. They're going to have a match at WrestleMania. Fraxium took on the Motor City Machine Guns. Candice LeRae interfered, allowing the Motor City Machine Guns to get the W. Then Randy was in the ring, talked about everything that happened. He admitted his love for Cody and claimed that he has to embrace the Vipers. He wants championship number 15. He is prioritizing his legacy and these world titles over friendships. Backstage, he verbally destroyed Matt Cardona and then beat him down. All right. Sammy took on Aleister Black. Aleister Black got the win after a distraction from Trick Williams led to Aleister Black hitting the Black Mass on Sami Zayn. Matt Cardona wanted a match against Orton, which he was denied. Mello wanted to put the U.S. title on the line, and he will do it. It'll be against Ilja Dragunov. Jay was in the ring, called out Rhea. Jay don't need wrestling. Rhea was like, "Well, I need wrestling. This is my life. I'm just going to run through you." Jay refused to strike until Michin and B-Fab came out to run Jay back into the ring. And what? Heel turn. They ended up siding with Jade, putting down Rhea Ripley. At least this gives Jade Rhea. This gives everybody something to do. And if you can't beat him, join him. Kit Wilson. We're back to Kit Wilson, The Miz, and Danhausen. You know what to expect from this. Drew and Jacob were brawling again. Solo was frustrated by losing the tag team titles, and I believe it was Tangaloa was saying, "You're starting to act like Roman," which really upset Solo. U.S. title match on the line. Mello and Ilja went head to head, blow for blow, counter for counter in a fantastic match. Ultimately, Mello countered the Torpedo Moscow into a pin and won the match. Orton was a little bit, in his feelings backstage, and Jelly Roll encouraged him, "Look, we know when people judge us for the worst that we've done and they don't move forward. This is all about redemption." Orton was conflicted. We were in the ring with Kit, who had a poetry slam against Jelly Roll, which ended up with them fighting. Backstage, most of the women's division were escalating tensions, and we'll see where this goes. Maybe a multi-woman tag team title match at WrestleMania, which leads us into the tag team title match with Nia and Lash putting the belts on the line against the Bellas. Of course, Charlotte and Alexa interfered, causing the DQ. It ended up with everybody fighting but Lash and Nia standing tall. I'm expecting a multi-woman tag team ladder match at WrestleMania. Give it to me. We got Lash and Nia, the Bellas, Charlotte and Alexa, Bailey and Lyra, and Asuka and Kairi. Is there another team missing that could be on there? Fuck it. Give me the Wren QCC. Give me Wren and Kendall as well. We were lastly with Randy Orton, who wanted to apologize to Matt Cardona. Matt comes out. Randy apologizes. They shake hands. And then low blow. RKO. Cardona's bloody. He's put down. You're an idiot. This is how it is. Over on Collision, this was Slam Dunk Saturday and Sunday night. Essentially, we got 1 hour shows coming on after the NCAA tournament. So on Slam Dunk Saturday, we had the TNT title put on the line as Kyle Fletcher defended against his mentor, Robbie Eagles. Solid match. Technical, athletic. Kyle Fletcher's just better than Robbie Eagles at this point, and he ultimately won the match with the Brain Buster. Moxley addressed Ospreay. And you wanted to come for him? Well, you come for the king. You best not miss. And Pac escalated the tensions, denying any involvement in the text. Remember, we don't know who attacked Ospreay, just like we don't know who attacked Tony Storm. LFI just won a squash match, 1 minute, cool. Thekla then addressed the attack of Tony Storm, and she claimed responsibility. Not in the way you think. She says Tony beat herself up, took herself out because, well, even though Tony is timeless, she isn't toxic. Our third match of the evening was the Sisters of Sin taking on the Brawling Birds. Fun match, solid match, competitive, back and forth. The Brawling Birds won with the 2 birds, 1 stone. I kind of wanted the Sisters of Sin when they can't keep being the top jobber tag team when they're not really jobbers, if you know what I mean. They are bona fide stars. They got to start getting some W's. Brody King was backstage and he thanked Kenny Omega and he warned Swerve that they are not done and he will continue to pursue gold. In our main event was Commander and Mascara Dorada taking on the Death Rider team of Claudio and Daniel Garcia. This was a great match. Definitely go check this one out. I like the clash of styles with Commander Mascara's high-flying lucha libre style, and you have Claudio with the strength and Daniel Garcia with the technical submission wrestling. Was really good. Ultimately, the Death Riders won the match. They continued the assault on Dorada after the match and move on to Slam Dunk Sunday night with opening contest with Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy taking on Lee Johnson and Jay Lethal. They are the Lethal Swirl. This was good. This might have been my favorite match out of like everything that happened on Collision. Cassidy and Roderick are just good, and Jay Lethal is, you know, the consummate professional. Ultimately, Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong won, and Strong declared that because of his friend Kyle, he is officially joining the conglomeration. But wait, there's more. Clark Connors and David Finlay appeared on the screen, mocking the win and challenging Strong and Cassidy, saying they're on dog time now. So we're getting ready for that. Lena and Megan Bain, we got a recap of them winning the tag team titles, and Willow and Harley are issuing a rematch. This led to our Divine Dominion match, the women's tag team champions, Megan Bain and Lena Cross taking on Alex Gracia and Vipers. 2 names that you know of that are higher up on the ladder, but they will be there in the future. Ultimately, this was pretty much domination by the Divine Dominion. I don't know how long. I think they're going to hold the belts up until All In and lose to the Brawling Birds, but we shall see. That is all the way in August. We are still in March, ladies and gentlemen. Ciampa took on Leo Rush, who's got his new eerie golem-like gimmick. And it was a good clash of styles, but ultimately Ciampa won with the running knee after hitting Project Ciampa to win the match. But Leo was still feeling good after this match. We got a package for a Kenny vs. Swerve and MJ's return on Dynamite, and their main event was as they're called Jet Set Mystico, put the trios titles on line against the Don Callis family members of Takeshita, Josh Alexander, and El Clone. Fun match. But this is also the match where Josh Alexander got hurt. It was really good. The injury kind of hampered things, but ultimately Jet Set Mystico retained. Here are matches of the week. Not many. There were good matches, but nothing like to jump here into this. From Raw, Penta versus Dragon Lee for the Intercontinental Championship. From Dynamite, Mike Bailey versus Mark Davis. From CMLL, Dos Leyendas, Hechicero versus Claudio Castagnoli for the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship, and just a fine affair. People are upset that Claudio lost to a stretch. Submissions work. That's what they're there for. And from SmackDown, the United States Championship, Melo versus Ilja. Dragunov for Stars of the Week. Got to give it to Wren Sinclair for becoming your new Women's Speed Champion, and Hechicero for becoming your new CMLL World Champion. That is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Look on the screen what we got coming up. Check out the socials. Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube. Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. I see you when I see you. Peace.